Now, this is an airline issue, and it's also, I guess you could call it soft copy because it involves a celebrity. Kaley Cuoco. I know you're a fan, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
She was on
Wow, okay.
on Big Bang Theory for a long
Waiting
time.
on her poster to come in for 2024.
Yep. She was on a flight. She's 38 years old. She has a daughter named Matilda who is 9 months old, and she was on a flight for the first time with her 9-month-old daughter over Thanksgiving. So it's a crowded flight, and they decide she and her, I don't think they're married. She and her boyfriend are on the flight, father of the child, Matilda, and they decide that she would be really cranky on this flight and cry, and they didn't want people to have to deal with that, so they brought their sound machine onto the plane with them so that the baby would sleep. So when they get up to altitude, they turn on the sound machine full blast, making the white noise sound. And the baby is fine, lulling to sleep and not making any noise. Then the flight attendant comes over to them and says, "We've had some complaints about your sound machine. Would you please turn it off?" And Kaley Cuoco threw a little fit there and said, "Oh, really? Well, would the person who complained about it like to hold my screaming child when we turn off this sound machine?" Well, it turns out the person who complained was sitting right in front of them and turned around and said, "Well, I'm the one that complained, and it's really bothering me." So they did turn the sound machine off, but it made for an awkward flight. The child cried some, not horribly, but she says this was so wrong. We were trying to do the right thing by keeping the child asleep. But then others are saying, "Hey, sorry, you can't have a sound machine on a flight." Biggie's pointing.
That's celebrity mentality.
That's exactly what I thought. That's celebrity mentality.
Celebrity mentality is, I'm doing the right thing. I'm always doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't bring a sound machine on a plane.
I thought the same. I think it bothers people as much as the crying child. Well, maybe not as much, but some.
Do we know how long the flight was?
Flight was 2 hours. They were flying 2 hours.
So it's not an overnight. I mean, it's not. Chances are people weren't. It wasn't like a 4-hour sleep, but they were crossing the Atlantic.
No.
Or the country.
No, but it was bothering whoever was sitting in front of them. Now, a crying child will bother you too, obviously. But
the airlines probably offers headphones of some sort. Most people bring them on, but you can certainly
so that you couldn't hear
drown out the kid.
Right. And I think you kind of, if you see a child, kid may cry, but kid has to fly. I see somebody dragging in a sound machine and turning that on. I'm like, what is this?
But how do you even hear that over the roar of the airplane?
Yeah, it seems like the plane makes a sound of its own.
It's a built-in sound machine.
Well, it was right. Well, it's true. It was right behind her, and they had it full blast doing white noise so the child could hear it. John, you're talking about sound machines and sound machines on airplanes in this case. Go ahead.
Well, you beat me to it. I just thought, last time I was on a jet, that was white noise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is the definition.
I mean...
Well, then are you saying Kaley Cuoco didn't need it, or are you saying that the passenger shouldn't complain about it?
Well, she didn't need it. And hell, if she had a smartphone, she could have just brought up a little app and that plays white noise and held it up next to the kid's ear.
Yeah.
I see that ad all the time for Calm.
And then the woman in front of her can't hear it, but the child can. You just got to keep it on her ear.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like is Kaley flying coach?
No.
I mean, first class seats are usually a little more separated.
Surely she's in first class.
I bet it's first class, and she had to
She's
turn
got
up
Big
too
Bang
loud.
money.
Yeah, why not?
She should be flying private.
NetJet.
NetJet that thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, it always does seem to make the news, but I think celebrities do kind of creep in and fly coach sometimes like that.
Maybe they're environmentally...
And I bet it wasn't coach.
Coach?
They ain't coach.
No, they're not.
Environmentally.
They're
No.
not environment.
Well, no. I'm saying she's not flying private because she wants to not use all the pollution.
You think somebody drags a sound machine on, thinks about the environment? Come on.
I think,
And I don't think they were in coach. I bet they were in like the step up class.
I want to say something about the environment.
I don't think she was in extra leg comfort. I think she was in first class.
I do too. I
Yeah,
think
she was 1 or 2A.
No, I agree with you there. But I agree with you there. I agree with all that. She must have been 2A.
Might have been 2A.
She's in 2A.
Because
One A's in
2A,
front of
that's
her.
right.
1A's in front of her. But I do think she's environmentally friendly. I think
Based on what?
Why? 'Cause she's a girl,
California?
a woman. She has boobs.
I can attest to
I
that.
mean, that's just how you're painting.
She's objectively hot.
Yeah, there's no article that's been out there about her and the environment.
Here's why I think she's environment, because otherwise she's got so much money. I mean, Big Bang money is huge.
Big money.
Were they $1 million an episode?
Absolutely.
Really?
By the end, and she was a huge star on it. I bet she's worth $100 million.
Yeah, she could private jet it.
Absolutely.
With the Miami Sound Machine.
So I think because she's rich and from California and objectively hot, that she cares about the environment. So she says, yes, I will fly first class, but I'm not going to waste a whole jet on myself and my baby.
For a 2-hour flight.
Yeah, I'll bring on the sound machine.
Now, Dave does make a good point. Did she bring on the Miami sound
machine?
Yeah, if Gloria
Oh,
Estefan
yeah, I'm
there,
sorry.
then everybody wins.
With the horn section and everything.
And the congas.
Excuse me, I misread it. Gloria Estefan of the Miami Sound Machine.
Yeah,
Conga, yes, conga starts playing.
That's overpowering.
Now, would you rather have conga or would you rather have a baby?
Toss up.
I've had babies and congas.
Push. Blogger Jen, you want to comment on sound machines? You have a lot of babies. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the difference here is that you can turn off a sound machine, but you can't turn off a baby. Like, the baby's going to cry, and people are just going to have to put up with it. But the sound machine you can turn off, and that's an annoyance they can deal with at that time.
People complain about crying babies on planes.
I never complain about crying babies. You know, they're uncomfortable, and the parents are uncomfortable. They know it, so it doesn't bother. There's no sense in complaining.
There's nothing you can do about it, really. You know, so
It will all end.
Their ears hurt. I get it. It's no fun.
Exactly. But I feel like that if you've got a crying baby, people sort of understand it, like you just said. You know?
I try to.
I do too. I feel like that is. I mean, I'm not on a lot of planes. I never fly, in fact. But I feel like when there is a crying baby, you're just like, okay, we have to deal with that. We have now some actual audio from the flight.
For 2 hours?
I think I would complain too.
Can we make that stop? Well, it's this or a crying baby.
Which do you want?
Could you just turn down the Gloria part?
Could you put Gloria back in coach? Is
Yeah.
there anybody to put Gloria as Stefan
Leave the
back?
sound machine.
A celebrity story as well. And we have celebrities, we have parents, all in this segment. Gary Busey's at it again. Looks
At
like
what?
Well, Gary Busey, as he's had some erratic behavior in the past, as you know. 79 years old. In September, he was accused of a hit and run. Recall that? Yeah, he's 79 now. Wow. Remember the hit and run? He was.
Oh yeah.
That was a weird story.
And he tried to drive away, or
Well, he did. Because it was in a parking lot, and he said when he was in the parking lot, he's like,
there's no laws.
There's no laws in a parking lot, which turned out not to be true. He was found that he had to pay for the damages of the woman that he hit her car. Well, now he's been accused of, at least, relieving himself, urinating on a bush along a wall near a newsstand in Malibu. He pulled it out, and several witnesses says, is that Gary Busey
Is that Gary Busey's wang?
relieving himself?
Is that Gary Busey peeing?
It is. He had on sweatpants, and he pulled up his shirt to reveal his bulbous belly, and then he pulled it out and relieved himself on a bush. Yeah. He's been acting erratically for the last 15 years since this interview about his 3D horror movie.
Tell me about your new movie.
What new movie?
Gary, the 1.8 days.
Yeah, no, you have to say the whole thing in the damn question, or else it doesn't make sense. It's dyslexic. Ask me a question.
Okay. Tell me about 1.8 days, the 3D horror movie.
No. That's my answer to you. Time out, turn it off.
Finally, Busey comes back to answer the question.
Tell me about your new movie, 1.8 days.
Oh, that's neat. It's going to be 3D.
That's a pro. That's hitting your mark.
That's how it's done. Many passersby said, same old Gary, typical Gary. Relieving himself.
Old or drunk?
Relieving
Or
himself.
both?
Both. Well, I don't know if he's drunk. He's 79. 79, and he's developed a reputation as
Colorful.
Neighbors in Malibu say they've seen him do a lot of odd things.
He's the crazy neighbor.
This is the latest from Gary Busey. He relieved himself.
Are there public toilets on the Malibu? I don't know. I'm assuming there are.
Yes. And he decided not to partake of those. No.
But is it clocked that he urinated?
Several witnesses say it was him. And there are pictures. There are pictures of him, at least with his belly out, as he's getting ready to take it out, submitted by witnesses. No word from the Busey camp on what exactly is going on there. More parenting in the news here. I have such a relationship with this. Remember my members only jacket story?
Absolutely.
It was a difficult time, and
Mama bought a knockoff.
Yeah, Mama bought a knockoff members only jacket when I was in the 6th grade.
What did you end up with?
Kicks, Kicks. It was a Kicks jacket,
but designed to at a quick glance you might mistake it for the cool brand.
Not only would you mistake it for, I didn't know what members only was, and none of us did. And Mama and I were in Belk's department store.
Amen, brother.
And Mama saw a jacket that she loved, and it was a navy blue, and what I learned later was it looked exactly like a members only, but it did not have the little tag that said members only. Unbeknownst to me or my mother, they were all the rage at that time. We're 1983. They had just become like the thing, okay? So I put on my Kicks jacket. Inside the back of it says Kicks. I didn't care. I just wore the jacket. The next day at school, I go in. 5 or 6 kids come over and go, "Oh my God, it's members only. You've got a members only."
Upon closer examination,
"Oh, you've got a Kicks." And they all go, "Oh, it's a Kicks jacket. Because they said to me, "Is that a members only?" I just assumed it was. I was like, "Yeah, I guess." And they were like, "Where's the tag?" And I said, "What tag? What are you talking about?"
It says Kicks.
And it didn't even have a tag. And they said, "Take it off."
Oh, it didn't have a tag?
It didn't have a tag at all.
Stolen valor?
It had the pocket. It had the pocket.
There's a pocket.
But it did not have a tag.
We've got stolen valor.
So I take off the jacket, and then the tag in the back, like inside where the size is, it says Kicks.
Pants him.
No.
All right. Here's what I tell that.
Yeah.
Chris Kelly, report to the apprentice.
Get him. I didn't know.
Same thing happened, and a mom is going viral in Ohio because her daughter, who is about the same age, in the 5th or 6th grade, apparently got a $10 knockoff version of a Stanley Tumbler for Christmas.
Well, that's the hottest thing on the planet for a certain segment.
She goes to school with a tumbler that looks just like a Stanley, but is not a Stanley. And then several girls in the class bully her because she has a knockoff. And mom goes on and rants about the tumbler. And I have to say that when she did this rant, I felt to myself, this is exactly like the Kicks members only jacket.
This is the cup that we got our daughter for Christmas. This is not a Stanley. This is a $9.98 Walmart cup that she said she thought was cute. She is 9 years old. On the second day back to school after Christmas break, she comes home. She's just upset. Girls in her grade, she said 9-10 of them all got Stanleys for Christmas. And they made sure to let her know that this is not a real Stanley, that this is fake and it's not as cool. She asks if she can have a real Stanley. Do I think that a 9-year-old needs a Stanley? No. Do I have one? Yes, I have one. That being said, before you come at me, if you're a mom, if you're a parent, and you can do something to keep your child from getting made fun of, to help fit in, you're gonna do it. So we went and bought her a 30-ounce Stanley. Can we afford to buy her a Stanley? Yes. Did I think that she needed one? No. Apparently I've been proven wrong by the children in our school that are making fun of her for not having a real name brand Stanley.
Is this a mom who asks yourself questions? Yes. Does she need to know? Did she buy a Stanley? Yes.
Is this the perfect lead-in for Mean Girls, the movie, opening today?
It is. At age 9. At age 9.
Age 9.
You hear that? 10 of them came at her and said,
third or 4th grade?
Not a Stanley. Yeah.
That's little.
That's about the 3rd grade.
And all the other ones had one?
Yeah.
I guess.
9
got 'em for
9 or
Christmas.
10, so they got them for Christmas.
I'm really torn on this because, well, here's the thing. I mean, bullying for wearing knockoff brands and things, that's been happening forever. It happened to you.
Thank you.
I mean, we used to make fun of the kids that wore like the knockoff Nike shoes.
You did.
It had the upside down check.
I told Weather Dave when all alligator shirts, Lacoste shirts were all the rage in high school.
Right.
My brothers and I had to wear Le Tigre.
Yeah.
Called hell for it.
It had a saber jumping across it.
Yeah. Had a leaping tiger.
Yeah.
Oh, I know the tiger.
Le Tigre.
Oh, I remember those.
Le Tigre.
Yeah, Le Tigre. Now, I had Izod. But Le Tigre was the knockoff version. Mom says, you know what? This starts with the parents.
This doesn't start with the kids. This starts with parents, with moms. What are we teaching our kids? You better believe that if our 9-year-old daughter came home and somehow we found out that she made fun of another girl at school for not having something name brand, whether it's a Stanley, Lululemon, Uggs, I don't care what it is. We would be calling the family. We would be making her write a note to apologize. We would make her apologize in person because that's not what we do in this household. And that's what we need to be teaching our kids. If my daughter asks for something to help fit in, it's something that she really wants and I can do that for her, I'm going to. But we have got to teach our kids to not make other kids feel inferior for not having the things that they have.
The Tumbler Wars.
Yeah. Most people are saying, yeah, you're right, but who cares? It's been going on forever since the Le Tigre days. You know, it's just you get a little bullet. Now you can go and put a mess. I mean, she is right. You shouldn't make fun of somebody for having a knockoff Stanley. Or
that's the nature of growing up. You want to fit in, of
course.
You don't want to be the different one.
A little young, but you're right.
I will say that is a little young.
Yep.
A little young to have any. I didn't know the Stanleys were that young.
Manford 5000, you're talking about knockoff brands and bullying. Go ahead.
Thank you. Get it? Okay, here we go.
From yesterday's show.
That's right.
There you go.
A callback. Exactly.
So, growing up, I'm 44. Growing up, you couldn't be caught dead in Champion. My son today, you have to have Champion. I don't get it.
Wow, weird.
Totally agree.
It changes. It changes through the years.
Yeah, Champion was like the brand's like, oh.
Yeah, that's right.
You couldn't afford Nike.
Yeah.
That's right.